Let me ask you guys this question, and then we'll bring up this story. So first, we have a story. I'll just show this real quick, what we're going to get into. Trevor Noah ripping Joe Biden. It's from a few days ago. But I think it's fascinating to see that even people like Bill Maher and Trevor Noah, who would never give Donald Trump a single good day, not even after he took out the leader of ISIS, they called him an austere scholar. They would not give Trump the credit. You know, something seems to be changing. But right now we're dealing with a president in Joe Biden that I believe could be presiding over the collapse of U.S. dominance around the world, the end of U.S. imperialism, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, Ian, you mentioned just previously that you'd rather have an authoritarian psychopath who's making the country work than someone like Biden. But no, let's explore that. I mean, is it better to have someone who cracks the whip but fixes the problem, or someone who sits back as everything bursts into flames and falls apart?
Who also happens to be an authoritarian psychopath on top of that.
All right, well, then it's obvious.
My patience is running thin.
Either extremism in either of those directions is a bad thing, I would think, because you don't want someone that's so authoritarian psycho like Hitler that will just like mobilize and take and conquer. Of course. But you don't want someone that's so checked out like Biden that he can't say words properly or even give a State of the Union. He couldn't do it. He just gave a campaign speech. He couldn't give a State of the Union because he might not even know what the State of the Union is.
He was like slurring his words the whole time. It was actually
and he got all
very sad.
The eye work done on his facelift. I mean,
did you see the bingo thing we did, Luke?
No.
We had like a bingo cards for the State of the Union, and one of them was like if Joe Biden uses a fake word, but he kept slurring so much and stuttering that would like.
That counts.
Did that count as a fake word or not? You know, saying like to traitors. We're like,
And meanwhile, when Trump did that, like he was tweeting and there was some obvious autocomplete, and they made fun of him for like 3 years after.
I know. Covfefe, right? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Covfefe.
Yeah, that was great.
But the problem is really, I mean, Biden can't speak. First of all, Trump had an odd manner of speaking. It wouldn't be hard to find someone that could just speak in normal English, and they managed to not do that. But if Biden totally keels over and we've got Kamala Harris, she can't speak either. I mean, just being able to speak English is like the lowest possible qualification.
Yeah, she's got the nervous. We talked about this before the show a little bit, like the nervousness where like if I let myself be who I really am, I'm going to say something wrong. I'm going to
and that's
say
the thing is
horrible.
we don't know who any of these people are. Biden is clearly not in charge of the country, but who is? And it's the same thing with Kamala. Who is behind the scenes?
Here's my favorite quote from Kamala. It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down.
It sounds like the Arthur theme song.
The title of this article from thecut.com is Come Again, Kamala?
Oh, right on.
This is can't talk either.
It's like that article where it's like Trump did something in a bathtub no one knows about, maybe, but we don't have any evidence.
No, an elevator.
Yeah, an elevator.
You ever see that article from the Huffington Post?
No.
Trump did something somewhere. What he did, we don't know. Who was there, we're not sure, but it's the Holy Grail, and I'm like, wait, what?
It's hysterical. Yeah. Well, but even this article, right? Trevor Noah ripping Donald Trump, ripping Joe Biden and saying Donald Trump would have been better is really significant because to these people on the left, Trump is literally Hitler. And even if he doesn't necessarily feel that way, his audience sure does. So for him to be willing to say, let me give points to the person who my side has literally been referring to as Hitler for years and years, because the current president is doing so poorly, doesn't really say good things for Joe Biden.
So let me quick just jump back to this Yahoo story, right? Trevor Noah rips Biden over Saudi UAE phone snub report. Would have never happened to Donald Trump. So this is like finally now, I'm surprised to hear this from Trevor Noah. I want to show you why this is so surprising. We have this tweet from the Huffington Post.
My favorite.
A tape might exist of Trump doing something in an elevator, though exactly where that somewhere is and what that something might be, no one in media can say. That's because no one in media seems to have seen the tape or is even confident it exists.
Oh my gosh.
This is Trevor.
As an investigative journalist, Luke, how do you feel about that headline?
I think we might see a next Pulitzer Prize winner.
Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, how much you want to bet they did win one?
I'm sure.
Look at that image of Trump's face, too.
Yes.
This is amazing.
God.
Maxwell Strachan.
Was that someone chasing him in Trump Tower? And they're like, hey, Trump! And then
Trump.
he wouldn't look at him, but they took the picture anyway?
Yeah.
So it's crazy that in their hysteria, they created an idea of something that didn't exist. They didn't define what that idea was. This article really does embody, we hate Trump for no reason. Now you have these liberal pundits coming out and being like, maybe Trump, wasn't so bad. So it really just, man, I'm so, I got a headache and everything. And I'm just like, all of these people that were screaming, we have to stop Donald Trump. He's an egomaniac. He's a fascist. And now we are dealing with quite possibly the worst administration we've ever seen in the history of this country. Maybe you can argue Woodrow Wilson was worse for a lot of reasons. Maybe Buchanan, pre-Civil War. But right now, the U.S., there's a lot of things happening in terms of soaring gas prices, inflation, manipulation, lies, escalating war. You know, I saw a leftist post on Facebook. They said, they were basically saying, why didn't we enact a no-fly zone before the war even started? When it was Ukrainian airspace and Ukraine had the right to agree to the United States and say we could do it, that would have forced Russia to break our, red line. And I thought it was an interesting point, because if Joe Biden knew all of this was happening, if Ukraine and everybody knew Russia was going to do this, then we could have gone in and secured it before the war even started, and it would have been incumbent upon Russia to be the ones to aggress against NATO, not the other way around. You look at Afghanistan and Bagram Air Force Base, all of it is basically just failures of intelligence, failures to act or do anything that would prevent war. Now, I suppose you can argue they must really, really want war. But when I kind of look at everything the Biden administration has done, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe they're just, maybe incompetent is an understatement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, drawing a line in the sand there and stating a no-fly zone prior to Russia invading, regardless of whether you think that would be a good idea, is an idea which would require actual decision-making and leadership, and he's not capable of that.